Hey friends, welcome back to the Mindset Podcast. I am your host, Sally Allen. I am so glad that you are here with us today. I cannot believe it's almost the end of January, but I'm happy to be back on track and to be recording. Last year was a bit brutal for me. Publishing my book, hosting a conference, audio recording the book. It was a lot and a big lift. But I'm so glad it's over. This year started off with a bang, started off with the Mindset Conference. We had about 125 people attended the conference. And this is what I want to talk to you about today. During that conference, as I was sharing my journey, my story when I was in corporate America, I realized something. I started this coaching journey because 16 years ago, I saw a gap in the company I was working for, that middle managers were not getting the training and the development that they need in order to step into people leading role. And so I was unofficially coaching and mentoring them. And once I realized that there was a gap, I went to my leader and said, we need to help them and send me to get coaching and training. And I did. He sent me, I got trained to coach and to conduct leadership training. And so that was the beginning of my career. And I loved what I did because I knew I was moving the needle. The revolving doors stopped with the middle managers. They were learning how to lead. They were learning how to be people-centered leaders. And they were also learning how to build trust with their teams. They were learning how to manage relationships, going from being a peer to all of a sudden being managers of their friends. And they were learning how not to be people pleasers and also how to be able to lead confidently, especially when you want people to like you. And what does it take to make your team, not make your team, but what does it take for your team to respect you? How do you conduct yourself? How do you conduct yourself from an individual contributor to a manager? What do you do? What are those competencies that you need? Those were some of the things I was helping these managers with. And then going from being a manager to a senior manager and a director to a senior director, and so on. I don't think people realize that when you go from an individual contributor role to a people leading role, those are two completely job descriptions. While you know how to lead process over here, it doesn't necessarily mean that you know how to lead people over here. So it's a different skill set and it's a different job description. And I think that gets lost in the process. Because what I've noticed over the years, that leaders see an individual contributor who's really good at what they do, really killing it in their skill set of their current job, whether it's game designing or whether it's in accounting, whatever it is. And they thought, oh man, we want to keep this person in this business. And then they elevate them into people leading role. And they get into these roles, and then a year later, you wonder why the morale goes down on the team, the trust is broken in the team. This manager feels demotivated, burnout, and doesn't know what to do. And it's as simple as they do not have the tools that it takes to lead people. And it was simple when I asked questions like, what does it take to build a high-performing teams? And a lot of times, I get communication. That is not the case. It is partially the case. But it takes trust to build a high-performing team. You have to create trust within the team when you become a people-leading manager. And learning how to create that trust is so important. Building on that trust is where communication comes in. Because once you have trust with them, you're able to communicate with them and they will communicate back to you honestly. You will get the honest feedback and you will be able to give the honest feedback. But if you're not starting from the very concrete foundation of trust, that's where the team breaks. So this is my goal this year. During my conference, I had this clarity that I went away from my mission and my calling from when I started this journey 16 years ago. And that was coaching and training middle managers. And I'll be fully transparent with you. The reason why I watered down my message on my demographic was because I was afraid that I would be excluded from the C-suite. And Last Friday, January 16th, I got clarity again. As I was training, I was on stage, I was doing this session and I was sharing the story of my passion and why I'm doing what I'm doing. It all came crashing over me. It's Sally, you lost your why. And so I'm going back to my why loud and proud. I love my middle managers. I have such a heart for them as a coach, and I have coached hundreds of them through Modern Health. And I'm ready to take on a couple hundred more because I'm excited. They need the help the most. They're the ones who actually runs the business. They're given the vision and the mission and the strategy, and they make things happen. They move the needle within the business. So I wanted to start off this year with my clear mission. I'm doing this for you, middle manager. So stay tuned. All my podcast episodes going forward would be tailored towards you and to add value to you on how to build trust, how to lead people, how to lead with confidence, how to step out of imposter syndrome, how to know you're not alone, how to lead your peers. And so with that, I always like to say that if you found this episode useful, if you got a little nugget of gold from it, remember to share it because that's the only way we get the word out. And I want you to remember that if you change your mindset, you can change your life. Have an amazing day. I will see you in the next episode.